Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Thursday, April 4th, 2024, and we did it. We closed down the Tropicana.
Well, we didn't close it down. We were just there.
We were there. We were partying.
We hung out, and we didn't stay right till the end.
No,
but it was fun.
it was a spectacle, right?
Yeah,
Like there
it
were
was
a
a
lot
good
of people.
Well, it's interesting. I saw some people that were that posted about it, and they said, "Well, it was like a ghost town." And then you look at the time of the post; it was at like 5:30, p.m. Well, it didn't really get started till we got there. Around 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it was starting to pick up. And then by the time that I left, which was a little bit before midnight, it was jam packed.
That's true, yeah. So around 11 o'clock, it started really getting busy. I noticed a lot of different groups of people that kind of came together to it looked like there were different groups of people kind of just celebrating.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were, former employees.
Okay.
And a lot of them were just, former guests. And it was like a lot of beautiful older women. Right? By older, I mean, like in their 50s and above.
I got a picture.
That were beautiful. Yeah. And I mean, they were probably dancers, right? And they were probably cocktail waitresses. And they were probably, all the kinds of, the people that used to get those kinds of jobs back then and today too, as well. Yeah. But it was a real interesting to see those different groups of people and hang out. They were friendly. Everybody was talking. Everybody was drinking. It was a good time.
Now, a lot of the, you'll notice from the video when I walk in, a lot of the slot machines were already out. They turned them off. And so what that did was kind of just forced people into certain areas.
Yeah, and there were still some of them were playing the table games. Beers were $11. So I had to pay for the last 4 or 5 or 6 $11 beers.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. You bought me a beer, by the way.
I did. I picked up a few tabs. So that got to be a little expensive. With the last one interesting one, I went to get 3 Heinekens at the bar. Yeah. And the guy goes, "This is the last Heineken."
Yes.
I go, "The last Heineken of the Tropicana?" He goes, "Yeah." I says, "Okay, give me 2 Stellas. And give me 1 Heineken."
Yeah.
And I gave the last Heineken to Tom Mills.
Yeah.
Who is the father of my friend Tom Mills.
Tom Mills Jr. Okay.
Yeah. And,
you did. And I was like, why didn't you give it to me?
I wanted to have it, man.
I wanted the last Heineken.
I'm the guy who walks around with Heinekens all the time.
I know.
I gave it to Tom, and so there we go. We've talked about this. We don't need to talk about it anymore. It was fun. We said we were going to go. We did. Tropicana is closed. If you didn't see it, you're not gonna.
As you may know, every year LVA does a show ticket price survey. So let's get into it, Anthony. What did we find this year?
Well, it's still $100 a ticket.
Okay, on average.
That's the average. That's what we do every year now. We've done it for, I think this is the 34th year in a row.
Wow. Okay.
And we're the only ones in the world who do this because it's so hard to do because there's so many different shows and so many different ticket prices. And you have to take averages and everything else. It takes forever. It takes spreadsheets, like crazy. But we did it again because we do it every year.
That's what you do.
Yeah. And again, I think for the 3rd year in a row or so, the average ticket price was over $100, $104.72. That was the average price, 52 cents higher than last year. All right, we looked at 88 shows. 48 of those 88 had at least one ticket that was over 100.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So it's not like every show in Vegas is over 100. I mean, a lot of them are much lower. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But when you put them all together, the average price was $104.72.
And this is what when you call production shows, meaning shows that you can see every week.
Mostly production shows. I mean, what we left out of this is what we call parachute performers.
Okay.
And the parachute performers pretty much are what they call the residencies, where people come in and they say, okay, we're going to play for 9 shows and we're gone. We left those out.
Okay.
But the thing is, those are the shows everybody wants to see. That's Adele, that's Barry Manilow, that's Maroon 5, that sort of thing. So this time, for the first time, all the ones that we left out that were playing at the time of the survey, these parachute performers, we took their average ticket price. Okay. $432.09.
Oh, wow. Big time.
Yes.
There we go.
So now you're talking about the Carrie Underwoods, you're talking about the David Blaine's, you're talking about, these kinds of things. And, of course, Adele.
Right.
And,
yes.
if we were to put that in, it would skew it so much because for Adele, her average ticket price when we went through it, and it was kind of just the back of a napkin type thing. We didn't really, go crazy on it. But her average was $1,100.
Yikes.
Yeah. So you stick, you stick that in, and all of a sudden, the average ticket price is going to be $130, $120, $130, and we didn't think that was fair to do it. But most expensive of the production shows was at Bellagio.
Sure, that makes sense. It's a classic. It's an amazing show, and it's a Cirque show.
Average price to see meaning that there's ticket prices below and above, but the average price to see is $285 and $265.59.
Okay, on average.
Yep, on average. Let's see, the lowest Afternoon at the Orleans, $22.75. That's after taxes.
Okay, $22.75 for L'Afternoon.
Yeah, for a show. Nathan Burton Comedy Magic plays at a place called Flyover Las Vegas.
Okay.
It's not a casino. It's they've got their own showroom. $25.44. Third lowest, Chase Brown's Vegas Country. Plays at a place called Notoriety.
Sure.
Which
downtown.
And it's $26.80.
Okay.
All right. So, the cool thing about doing this is, you get a feel for what it costs, but we also get to, because we're checking everything, we get to find some of the bargains and the real values in shows. And we're going to go over that. We're going to save that till next week.
Okay. So next week we have a big, we're going to tease a little bit, because next week we're going to do a big show overview.
There's some really good ones. There's some, okay. So you say the average price is $105. Essentially. So for me and my wife, or me and my friend, or me and whatever we're going to do, it's going to cost us over $200 to go see a show in Vegas. Not necessarily. There's some really good shows in the 20s and 30s.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to talk about those next week.
I always like to say, go to the LA Comedy Club at the Strat, because you could see Butch Bradley at 10 o'clock, 5 nights a week, and it's an inexpensive ticket.
Well, comedy clubs are one of the recommendations. So some of the comedy clubs there, the Comedy Cellar at the Rio.
Sure.
So we're going to go over some of these prices for those of you who want to see a show, because everybody, when they come to Vegas, they go, I want to see one show. Why? I don't know why. There's enough to do and see, but they want to see one show. So, you can get in and out of these places for two people well under $100 easy. And we'll talk about it next week.
And in this next segment, we want to pay homage to a very special guy who passed away recently, but also left a lifelong impression on our man, Anthony Curtis. Tell us a little bit about BART RAKAY.
All right, BART RAKAY from Detroit. All right, I knew him growing up. He died 2 days ago. And the reason he's important is that he is essentially the reason I'm sitting here right now. You're the reason I'm sitting here. He wasn't my dad, but he was a protege of my dad's, and he became a friend of the family. This is the guy who gave me my first book on blackjack. All right, he gave me a book called How to Win at Blackjack by a guy named Charles Einstein. And he said, when he gave it to me, I was a 10th grader in high school.
Okay.
So what, 14, 15 years old, something like that. And he says, he goes, I think you're going to understand this, and I think you're going to be good at it.
Okay.
And I knew nothing about it.
This is the first time you got introduced to blackjack.
Yeah. And I knew nothing about card counting. I knew nothing about anything. I'd heard of blackjack.
Yeah.
I'd played it or on the kitchen table and things like that. But I took this book and I just devoured it. And I was like, as soon as I started reading it, the light went on.
Was it a card counting book?
Yeah, it was a book on card counting.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about it is that it wasn't one of the great books on card counting. And it was a book, I think we showed it on the screen, or we're going to show it now. This is the book. This is the book he gave me 50 years ago.
The actual book.
Yeah. And it turns out that some of the information in that book wasn't perfect. And, some of the card counting numbers weren't exactly right the way they were supposed to be. But it doesn't matter. It was good enough. And it told me how it worked. And then I went from there.
Okay.
And I knew Bart for years and years and years. And the first time I ever played, I played in the old Marina Hotel when I turned 21. He contacted me. He said, I'm coming out to Vegas. And he goes, let's get together. I'll take you out on your first thing. And I'll never forget it. The first time I sat down, I'd been practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. By then, I'd read 20 books on blackjack, maybe more. And I sat down and started to play, and my head started spinning. I got confused. I didn't know what to do, right? And I just completely, I got up, I had to walk away from the table.
Okay. But you froze.
Yeah, I came back, and I remember I split twos against an ace.
Okay.
which is a terrible play.
Right. You're not supposed to do that.
And he looked up at me and he went, no. But anyway, Bart was a great guy.
Yeah.
He was a comic book collector. He was a card collector, like baseball cards and hockey cards and all that kind of stuff. And he was a board game player.
Right. Yeah, you told me this.
Yeah, so here's the reason he gave me the book. He used to come over to the house, and we would play board games, specifically mostly Monopoly, but we'd play other games, and we would play Speed Monopoly.
Okay. How do you play Speed Monopoly?
Just fast.
Okay.
You don't screw around. You're taking no hostages. Everybody's there to win. And it would be he, my dad, and myself. Three of us. And I remember once our record we played, if you played Monopoly, you know how long it takes to play a game.
Yeah, wow.
We played 7 games in one night, right? And both of those guys, my dad and Bart, were both really good game players. But I won more than they did.
Okay, so you had a strategy that you developed on Monopoly as a kid.
Well, here was the thing. I understood, and this is going somewhere. I understood probability. And I hadn't taken any classes or anything, but for some reason I had an innate understanding of probability. And if you've played Monopoly, you know that you roll dice. So, you build hotels, you take hotels down. Now, when you build a hotel, if you have to take it down to pay somebody a fee because you've landed on them, you get a discounted price back. So I started looking, and if I'm 6, 7, or 8 away from somebody's hotel, I don't build.
Right.
I wait until I roll the dice and get past them. I build on the next turn. And I was understanding this stuff.
6 ways to make a 7, Anthony.
There you go, man. That's your song, man. Yeah. And it's so important. People ask me, they go, what does it take to play blackjack professionally or to gamble professionally? What are the math skills? They'll say to me, well, you were a math genius, right? You were some kind of math genius. I'm like, no. I mean, my SATs I did okay in math, but my verbal skills, my verbal part of it was, reading part of it was much higher scores than I was at math. Because you only need 2 things, really, in gambling. You need to understand algebra. And you understand algebra because you need to make equations. You need to make expected value equations. You need to take promotions and have equations that tell you what that promotion is worth.
Okay.
And you need an understanding, a grasp of probability. All right, so you need to understand what risk is all about. And I never took formal math classes in high school or in college, but I understood probability very, very well. And these are really, now you need other skills to be a professional. I mean, you need to do the research. You need to read up on the strategies, and you need to practice. And maybe it helps to be able to code if you're a computer coder, but you don't have to have that. And to play a game, you don't necessarily even have to have those math skills of algebra and probability, but you need to know somebody who does, because they need to point you to the proper games and be able to do it. So a lot of people ask me, what does it take? What do I have to do? I just tell them, in math, you just need basically introductory algebra. I mean, you don't need a high level of algebra either, but you need a solid grasp of probability.
Okay.
So anyway, it goes all the way back there. We come all the way back to Bart. Gonna miss Bart, and to his family and his son and his wife and everything else. I'll miss him along with you. And like I say, if not for him, I wouldn't be here.
Well, I know, Anthony, losing a friend is really tough. It's a bummer. That's a big bummer. And here is a mini bummer.
Good one, Andrew.
Thank you. Downtown Grand, the mini the mini games that we've been playing, the tournaments, the blackjack tournaments are going to be canceled.
They're done.
Yep.
They're done.
There's 2 left, right?
2 left. There's going to be one tonight.
Okay.
And there's going to be one next week.
Okay.
1 year after doing it, they decided that they didn't want to do it anymore.
You won too many.
I won 5.
Yeah?
I won 5 of them, which wasn't bad. I'm pretty sure that was the most.
Okay.
Of anyone who played down there, because I played down there. I didn't play them all, but I still got 2 to go. I'll go for 6 and 7.
Okay.
But no, that wasn't the reason. They just, the guy who put them in, Andrew Kahneman, left. Not there anymore, and they're kind of like taking apart all the things he did. So I don't know how long the $2 hot dog is going to be there either. I don't know. But here's the thing, Andrew. We talked about it last week. We didn't know they were canceling the minis, but they're going to start with at least one bigger tournament with a guaranteed prize pool, and that's going to be on April 13th, a Saturday, 2 days after the last mini.
Now, this is exciting.
It is good. If they keep doing these, if they do them every month or second month, then okay. I mean, I'm going to miss the mini. They're so much fun, and they're such good practice, and it was such a great meeting place for all the LVA people that would come down.
That's what I'm going to miss, the community. Like,
Yeah.
there were people who we'd see every week, and I got used to seeing the people every week.
And it was fun. So we're not going to be able to do that, but it's still going to be either, I haven't found out yet, there's going to be either a $25 or a $50 entry into the big tournament. And they're guaranteeing X amount of money, 4,000 or so. So come down and play it, and then we'll see where it goes.
Let's talk March Madness, Anthony. Final Four starts tomorrow.
Yeah, for the women. For the women. Yeah, Friday the women starts, and Saturday will be the men's.
Okay.
And
what are the lines?
The lines, well, first we've got UConn.
That's right. Let's go UConn.
12-point favorite over Alabama.
Okay.
And then we got Purdue, 9-point favorite over North Carolina State. That's for the men.
Okay.
For the women, we've got, there's as much fascination with the women's tournament this year as there is with the men.
Okay.
Because of a couple of great players, Caitlin Clark from Iowa, Paige Bucker, I think they call it. It looks like Bucher, but I think it's Paige Bucker from Connecticut.
Okay.
And they play Iowa versus Connecticut. -2.5. Iowa's favorite, and then you've got South Carolina, who's favored over all of them. A big, gigantic favorite in this tournament. -12 over North Carolina State again in this one.
Okay, so North Carolina and Connecticut could take it in the men's and the women's.
They could.
Yeah.
It's possible with Connecticut having a much better chance of doing that.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, I like North Carolina State with the men. I've been riding them all the way up.
Really?
Yep, I've bet them every game.
Okay.
And they're looking darn good. Now they've got to go against Purdue. They're 9-point underdogs. Styles make fights, right?
All
Styles
right.
make
Yeah,
fights. It's
there
going to
you
be an
go.
interesting one.
Okay.
I'm taking the points with North Carolina State.
There you go. You heard it here. And in this week's question of the week, Las Vegas always has a chef in the running for a James Beard Award recognizing the country's best chefs. Who are this year's contenders?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, Vegas is famous for amazing restaurants.
Yeah, and every year, he's right. Every year they do have some nominees. This year there were 5, but only one is a finalist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, so the finalist is in the Best Chef Southwest category. His name is Steve Kersler from Aroma Latin American Cocina in Henderson.
Haven't been there. Okay.
I have not been there either. I'm going to try it.
Okay.
Right, but it's obviously Latin American Cocina. It's Latin food. I love that.
Yeah.
So it's great. So he's the only finalist, Best Chef Southwest. But here are the others. So you know who these people were. They were in the same category. Best Chef Southwest nominated was the chef from Milpa. Milpa, they call it Modern Mexican, way up west on Durango Road.
Okay. Haven't been there either.
Durango and Flamingo. I haven't been there either. I've heard good things about it. Also, Sparrow and Wolf.
Right up the street. That's around the corner from us.
Right here in Chinatown. Outstanding. Again, same thing. Best Chef Southwest. I have eaten there on a couple of occasions. Very good. Very good. It's they call it experimental cuisine, and it's good. It's a real good one. So that's Sparrow and Wolf. They say Sparrow plus Wolf. Then pastry chef or baker, outstanding pastry chef or baker, Milkfish. All right, it's a Filipino pop-up bakery. All right, so they don't really even have a place where they're, a regular place where they.
So where is it? Yeah.
It's all around.
You got to go online, I guess.
But you can go, you can find Milkfish and you can order online from them as well. So I guess it must be pretty good. I haven't tried that one. The 5th one was for the outstanding chef in the United States, not in these individual areas, just in the entire United States. That was he didn't make the finals, but he was nominated. Oscar Amador Ito from Enema by Ito.
Okay, and where is that?
I just Ito'd there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in a place. It's one of those complexes called the Gramercy.
Okay.
On the west side of town on Russell Road.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it's very hard to find. When you drive in there, it's like you're looking around, just like this small door, and it's Spanish, and I think like Northern Italian.
Okay.
And it's very good. It's very good.
All right.
And it's a tapas place, but they're I called John Curtis, who was no relation to me, but Curtas. He was one of the authors and later the only author for our Eating Las Vegas. I said, what should I get there? because they've got these tasting menus. You can do all that. He goes, yeah, the tasting menus are good, but he goes, just go for all the appetizers and the pasta.
Okay.
So that's what I did. And I had a number of things. Very, very good. Recommendable.
All right. Well, you heard it here. Thank you for the question. That was a good question of the week. And in this week's Jackpot of the Week, it's a story from the Downtown Grand, I think last week or the week before.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, well, tell us what happened, Anthony. You were witness to this Jackpot of the Week.
Yeah, I was kind of a part of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of a couple of Brit guys who were asking for you.
Okay.
I didn't want to take a picture with you or something like that. But
All right.
One of them was talking to me, said he'd been a fan of the show for a long time. And his buddy was over playing on the other side. This was at the Furnace Bar in the middle.
Right there in the center, yeah.
So, I mean, whatever they're doing at Downtown Grand, they still got the great games, right?
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you've had some great experiences there.
I've hit aces with a kicker for $900.
Yeah, you've done well there.
It was $750. I can't remember. It was a good hit.
It was a good hit. And, as I was talking to him, his buddy yells, "Yo,
Yeah.
just come on over." So he goes back, and his buddy hit a royal.
There
He was talking to me.
No progressive, though.
No, it wasn't a progressive. So they call me over. They go, "Come on, it's got to be Jackpot of the Week."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it'll be Jackpot of the Week.
All
so
right.
it's just a regular royal for $1,000.
At the Furnace Bar.
Right. They were playing. He was playing. Now, here's the thing. Don't get mad at me. You want a Jackpot of the Week. You got it. You were not playing the best game.
Right.
Definitely were not. He was playing quarters. He was playing 965 double bonus, 97.81%.
Okay.
All right. Now, that's not bad. It's just a little, a couple notches under 98%. But this is the Downtown Grand where they've got the double bonus.
Progressive.
Progressive.
Four-way progressive.
Four-way progressive. And they've got, a much better kind of alternative to playing that is the regular 8-5 bonus poker, which is 99.17.
Perfect.
So he wasn't playing any of the good games, but
He made it rain.
yeah,
There you go.
He drew one and hit.
Yeah.
Which would you rather have? Would you rather play the best game and lose $20, or play the third best game and hit a royal?
I'd rather hit a royal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, guys. All right, everybody. That's it for this week. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and for commenting Jackpot. We got a lot of Jackpot comments.
got a lot of comments on the last one. That was cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Also, remember, next week we're going to have a big show price survey review and get a little bit more in depth than we did this week. Anything else, Anthony?
No, just come back for that one. We'll show you where the bargains are.
Okay. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week.
Well, I'm going to